We'll start with the prayers. Om Sahana Bhavatu Sahanau Bhunaktu Sahaviryam Karavavahai Tejasvinavaditamastu ma Viddhishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. We are studying Prasno Upanishad and we are doing with Shankara Bhashyam. There are 6 chapters in Prashno Upanishad. We are in the last chapter in the third verse. All Upanishads want to reveal only one thing, which is what is my real nature? All of us are born with ignorance, which is called self ignorance or Mula Avidya. All of us. Because we identify with the body as our real nature. Now, if we are identified with the body as our real nature, then what is the Upanishad trying to reveal to us? The Upanishad wants to tell us that there is an eternal self which is changeless and which is always there. It is always existent consciousness principle. This consciousness principle is not easy to understand. It is not easy to claim also. The reason being, we are identified with the body and we always say, I am this body, I am acting, I am enjoying, I am going to college, I am going to school, I am going to office. So throughout our transactional life, we are always connected with this body. Hence, we take it as that the body is me. Now, this notion which I have, according to Upanishad, is wrong notion. Upanishad wants us to correct this mistake. What the Upanishad says is, whenever you are experiencing the body, there is always an experience of the awareness, consciousness, principle with the body. So the new thing I learn about myself is there is something in me which is called as awareness. And also there is something in me which is called as the body and mind. The segregation of this consciousness, awareness, and the body mind complex is the spiritual journey. We study for 25 years, 30 years, 40 years Vedanta. But many of us don't understand this goal of Vedanta. They study, they just hear for years together. And then they say that nothing is happening. I'm the same as what I was before. Shankaracharya, when you study his Bhashyam, Bhashya means commentary. When you study his commentary, you will learn that there is something which is different than the body, and I need to segregate, I need to separate the consciousness from the body and mind. This is one task. Once you have understood that this is the first task, then there is a second task. In the world also, there is consciousness and the world. When you're talking about the external world, we normally use the term existence principle. When you look at the body, we use the term chit. So inside the body is chit, which is sakshi to all our thoughts. Outside the body is Ishvara, which is existence principle. Existence plus the prapancha. I am consciousness plus the material body. World is existence plus the material universe. What we have to do is drop the material body, material universe, and then understand cognitively that the chit in me is the same as Sat outside. So the truth of the universe is Sat Chit principle. I hope it's clear because this is a very, very important aspect. If you understand this, then you will understand the nature of what we are learning and you will be able to appreciate the learning. By doing this, what do I get? That will be a natural question for all the seekers. The Upanishad says, you will be free from sorrow. What is the primary sorrow for all of us? The primary sorrow for all of us is that we are not permanent in this universe. Limitations. That limitations which we have, the Upanishad says, these limitations will go away. And then you will be able to appreciate what is Ananda principle, which is bliss. So, with this background, let me go to where we stopped 2 weeks ago. And it was a short break. I'm going to continue from where we stopped. This is where we stopped in the last class. We are doing verse number 3 of the 6th chapter. In this verse, the nature of consciousness is being brought about. What is the nature? The Upanishad says? Upanishad says that the nature of consciousness is it is akarta, abhokta. Akarta means what? I am not a doer in my real nature. As the body, I am the doer. As the body, I am the enjoyer. But as Atma, I am not the body. I am not the karta or bhokta. In my presence, in the presence of Atma, the revealer of the world, the consciousness principle, the body does action, the body enjoys the result of action. Vedanta study is a very deep science, very deep, because you are going to reach your subjective self. Objective self is based on our mind and sense organs. But subjective self is based on the study of scriptures. It is the scriptures which reveal the truth, not the mind, not the sense. So, what Shankaracharya says is Sankhya people attribute Kartrutvam from Prakriti to the Purusha. Why do they do this transfer? Because it is a false transfer they don't understand. They think that Prakriti is real. Prakriti means what? Material universe. Purusha means what? Spiritual universe. According to Sankhya, the material universe is independently there. The spiritual universe, the Atma, is independently there, which is a wrong vision of the world. Shankaracharya tries to correct this vision. By learning this method, what happens to us also, we also get the right vision of the universe. Avidya adhyaropita eva purusha kartrutvam kriya tattvam karakam cha. Because of ignorance alone, we attribute I am the karta, the doer of action, and I am also using this body and other karakams. Karakams means accessories like the sense organs and so on. Bhagavad Gita has a verse in the second chapter. The second chapter, verse number 14 to 25, describe the nature of Atma. Yayenam veti hantaram yaschainam manyate hatam ubau tau na vijanitah ayam hanti na hanyate. Lord Krishna saw the same truth, what Shankaracharya says in the third verse of Prasno Bashyam. What does the Gita verse say? The Gita says, anybody who takes himself as the slayer in the battlefield or the slave. Slayer means karta, doer. Doer of action in the battlefield. Anybody who thinks that I am killed, I am the bhokta, I am the locus of the result of action. Anybody who thinks like this, Lord Krishna says he has got a wrong vision. Why? Nayam hanti na hanyate. I don't kill, I don't get the result of the killing action. Why? Here, Lord Krishna is not referring to the body, he is referring to the Atma, the consciousness, the awareness principle, which I said in the beginning of today's talk. I consist of two things. Number one, Atma or awareness. Number two, the material body. When you look at it from Atma's point of view, I have no birth, I have no death. That is a corollary from this verse. Generally, we say, I was born on so and so date, I will not be there after a few years, but that is the wrong notion. The same thing was taught to Nachiketa in Kathopanishad. Nachiketa wanted to know, is there something after death? Lord Yama says there is something called as Atma, which is eternal, which never dies, which never is born. See, you must be able to connect the other study of other Upanishads when you study Bhashya. For example, Mandukya Upanishad. This verse refers to which portion of Mandukya? The Turiyam part. As Turiyam, you're not born. As Turiyam, you do not die. As body, you are a waker, dreamer, sleeper. But I am not waker, dreamer, sleeper. I am the Turiya. I hope things are clear because I'm going deliberately very slow because I want all of you to understand these points. Kathopanishad has a wonderful verse in the second chapter. We have Kathopanishad, that's why I'm referring to this. Just as the sun is the eye of the entire world, the sun illumines the entire world. But the sun is never contaminated by the world. Similarly, Atma is never touched by the body's conditions, whether the body has got some problems, some defects. Atma is never affected. Therefore, what? By knowing this Atma, I can say I have no sorrow in life. All the time I can claim I am sorrowless. See what is a great benefit of study of this Upanishad. I can claim I am Atma. The attributes of Karta and Bhokta does not belong to the Atma. It belongs to the body-mind complex. So Sankhya people make a big blunder. They attribute the kartatvam to the body, they attribute bhoktrutvam to the Atma. They say body will act, but Atma, the Purusha, will get the result. Enjoyer. The enjoyer is Atma. But Karta is the body. That is a wrong principle, which Shankaracharya in this verse is trying to correct that. What is Advaityan's view? Prakriti has kartrutvam. It is transferred to Purusha. Purusha is of a higher order of reality. Like the baker is higher order of reality compared to the dreamer. So the entire material world is a lower order of reality. The Purusha, the spiritual Atma, is a higher order of reality. The dream world is superimposed on the waker. The waker's world is superimposed on the Atma. For Sankhya, Prakriti or nature is as real as the Atma. What about for Vedanta? Vedanta says Prakriti is of a lower order of reality. Atma is of a higher order of reality. Prakriti does not have an independent existence. Atma alone has independent existence. So we are studying the different philosophers' view on Atma in this section of Prasno Bashyam. There are about 20-25 topics which Shankaracharya discusses. And my slides for these 20-25 runs into 125 slides, 125 pages. So I will be continuing this analysis of the third verse for the next 4 or 5 classes. one has to be very patient when one is studying Bhashyam. When you study the Moolam, which is verse meaning and its discussion, you can go fast because there is no debate, there is no comparison with other philosophers. In Bhashyam study, there is a comparison. According to Sankhya, there are 25 tattvas. The universe consists of 25 principles. One of the principles is Purushaha, one of the principle is Prakriti, one of the principle is Mahat, and then Ahamkara, and many, many others. Totally 25 tattvas. So when you study Sankhya in detail, you will understand that is done in Brahma Sutra class. In the second chapter of Brahma Sutra, we study all the philosophies in detail. In Advaitam, there is only one tattva, that is Purusha tattva. Prakriti is atattva because it is karya gamyam. It is karyam. It is a product of Maya Shakti, which we discussed in Panchadashi classes. All these 24 tattvams cannot be counted as real in Vedanta. There is only one Purusha tattvam which is really existent, whereas all the balanced 24 tattvams are appearances. They have dependent existence. Prakriti has existence. What the Sankhya says? Sankhya says material world has its own existence. The principle of Atma has its own existence. Swatantraha. Purusha and Prakriti both are Swatantra in Sankhya. In Advaita Vedanta, Prakriti is Paratantra. It is not, it is dependent principle on consciousness. Therefore, by knowing this Purusha principle, I can get moksha. Moksha means what? I don't regard myself as this body. I regard myself as Atma. Very simple. See, when you understand Vedanta in a step by step logical way and apply the mantras, then you will get a correct vision. Suppose you don't study in a systematic way, you will be lost. What does Sankhya says? Sankhya says Purusha and Prakriti can never be separated. They are together. They are independently existing, but Advaitin says Prakriti is false. It is Mithya. In Sankhya, Prakriti is called as Pradhanam. It is different than the consciousness, and Prakriti and Purusha are equally real. This is the second blunder they make. So, because of this mistake, they are never going to have moksha. That is what Shankaracharya says. You have to have the two orders of reality, Vyavaharika Satyam, Paramarthika Satyam, then only you will be able to reach moksha. Understand the moksha tattva. So, according to Sankhya, Prakriti is the doer of action, Purusha is the enjoyer of action, but this is Anubhava Virod. Shankaracharya says, how can you say that's I am the body which does the action? But somebody else will enjoy the result of action. For example, suppose I am eating, doesn't mean that somebody's hunger will be quenched. So, the basic rule is whoever does action, he alone enjoys the result of action. So, Karta and Bhokta, Shankaracharya says, is the same individual. My happiness comes because of my past karma. My sadness comes because of my past karma, not because of somebody else's karma. I am responsible for my experiences in life. So that is law. Yaha karta bhavati, saha eva bhokta bhavati. Sarva loka prasiddha. This law is good to everybody, but this law is violated by Sankhya people who says that karta is prakriti and karta is atma. So that is the topic number 272. So now we are entering into the next topic, 273. This discussion goes on till 290, 295 topics, which goes on for, like I told you, more than 100 pages are there. See how deeply we have to go in understanding this art. Understanding of Atma is not an one day, one class, you can do it. No, it is a systematic study by which your intellect has to accept what the Upanishad says is the truth. In the next topics, Sankhyas are criticized by other people. That's what Shankaracharya says. There is mutual mudslinging. Sankhya, Nyaya, Yoga, Vaiseshika, all these four schools of philosophers, they are all Tarkikas. They are all logicians. Parasparam with Viruddhyante. In Mandukya Upanishad, Gaudapadacharya says, Parasparam Viruddhyante. They fight with each other. What does Siddhanta do? What does Shankaracharya do? He says, let them quarrel with each other. They will defeat each other. It helps me because I don't need to negate Sankhya or Vaiseshika or Yoga or other schools. Tarkikas are mutually contradictory. Nyaya has problems with Srishti. According to Nyaya, Srishti comes because of atoms joining together. But atoms are niravaya, they are partless. How can they join? That is a problem in their philosophy. Niravayava paramanu anus cannot join together to become molecules and the entire universe. So this is the way it is called as Sandupa Sundam Nyaya, where each philosopher tries to negate the other philosopher and they quarrel with each other. When two people are quarreling, then the Vedanta is the winner because each one is trying to fight and put the other down. Vedanta says, both of you are wrong, I am right. I don't have any logical problems because I don't take logic as my primary pramana. For Vedanta, what is the primary pramanam? Shastra. Upanishad says Atma is not karta, bhokta. I accept Atma is akarta, abhokta. By accepting this, what do I get? Atma becomes free from the body, and I can claim this as my Swarupa and get moksha. This can happen only in Advaita Vedanta. There is no moksha possible in any other school of thought, because all other schools of thought, they depend heavily on logic. For them, logic is the primary pramanam. For Shankaracharya, Shastra is the primary pramanam. Suppose, for example, same thing happens in science also. In science, one scientist will come and say this. Another scientist will come and disprove the older scientist. Never said this. Einstein said this. Therefore, this is the truth. So, in science, it is possible because we are using our sense organs and the mind. Sense organs and the mind, when they combine together, they can contradict. But not Atma, which is the revealer of the sense organs and the revealer of the mind. Shankaracharya, Advaita Vedanta is very, very far away. So we need to accept Advaitam as the truth if you are a mumukshu. Mumukshu means mokshumicha, a seeker of knowledge. The knowledge which relates to freedom. So don't become a Tarka Pradhana seeker, become Shastra Pradhana seeker. That is what Shankaracharya says in the last topic. A few slides on the revision portion. Purusha is the Brahma Chaitanyam. It is the cause of creation, ultimate cause of creation. The Panchabhutas are also cause, but Purusha, the consciousness, awareness, is the ultimate. Immediate causes, the body's causes, the Panchabhutas. But the ultimate cause is consciousness, awareness. Sankhya does not accept this. Therefore, it says the Purusha is uh, it says that if the Purusha has to do action, it has to undergo change. And if it has to undergo change, it has to be the Prakriti only. So that is how they argue. Shankaracharya defends his argument. What is the Purusha of Advaita Vedanta? Purusha of Advaita Vedanta, there are three portions of that. Purusha can refer to Nirgunam Brahma, which is the consciousness awareness principle by itself, without any reference to the world. Like in sleep. In sleep, we have self ignorance. I don't know the world. I don't know the art. Suppose I know that there is a consciousness which is a eternal principle. It exists in waking, dream, and sleep. It exists in birth and death. It is an eternal, unchanging principle. That is what is called as Nirgunam Brahma. A Purusha can refer to Ishvara. Maya Sahita Ishvara. Maya means what? It is the power. It is that power which causes this universe. The third one is Saguna Jiva. So, Jiva is with Guna. Jiva, Ishvara is with Guna. Ishvara is primary Satvik Pradhana Jiva. Whereas normal Jivas are Saguna Jivas, which are Rajo Pradhana and tamo pradana jeeva. Nyaya Vaiseshika defeats Sankhya and says Purusha and Karta and Bhokta have to be the same doer, enjoyer. Good action produces good results. That is what we see in the world. Bad action produces bad results. Therefore, what the conclusion is, Karta and the same Karta reaps his benefits from his karma. So, as seekers, what should we know? We should know the limitations of Tarka, the limitations of logic. It cannot go beyond the sense organ level and the mind level. What about Vedanta? Veda can go beyond sense organs and mind because it is apaurusheya purushaha. It is apaurusheya teaching. The uniqueness of Vedanta is it introduces us to Advaitam. Advaitam means what? Ekatma darshanam. There is only one Atma. There is no duality. Duality experienced is only an appearance. It is not the factual. It is an appearance like a snake. Because of what? Because of jnana adhyasa. What is mean by jnana adhyasa? Whenever there are vrittis in my mind, I associate myself with the vrittis which are there in the waking state, in the dream state, in the sleep state, and therefore I become Saguna Jiva. Saguna Jivas are always many because each body is Saguna. But if you are interested in moksha, freedom, you have to know Nirguna. That is what is the central message in this 274 topic. 275. When there is a debate between Sankhya and Nyaya, Nyaya uses primary Tarka as his logic. Then Nyaya or Sankhya, they use Tarka, the logic. They will never be able to come to the central principle called as Atma. One to many is Sankhya. Many to one is Nyaya. One Prakriti becomes the entire Mahat, Ahamkara, Prana, Manaha, everything. One Prakriti. That is Sankhya. What does Nyaya say? Many to one. Many means what? Atoms are many. They all joined to become one substance. As long as you are in duality, you will always be vacillating between one to many or many to one. So either we will be a Nyaya philosopher who will look at many bodies in creation, they will never understand one Atma. Atma is totally separate for them, independently existing. Prakriti is independently existing. Dvaita philosophers. So both are mithya, all srishti is mithya, or they will say there is no srishti. So each one fights with the other philosopher because they are using logic and they are harping on Dvaita as real. Advaitam says Dvaitam is not reality. It is an appearance. Like dream world is Dvaitam. It is an appearance. Waking world is Dvaitam. It is an appearance. It is Mithya. What is Satyam? The Adhishtanam for the Dvaitam is Satya, which is R. And that Adhishtanam is of a higher order of reality compared to the lower order, which is Adhyastam. Okay, that's topic number 275. The next topic, 276. Sankhya says Prakriti is Karta, Purusha is Bhokta. These are all the same analysis Shankara is doing, but in different ways. Now, here, next, in this topic, Shankaracharya says, to be a Bhokta, Purusha has to undergo change, modification. There is going to be Swarupa Parinama, that means change in the intrinsic nature of the self. If Purusha is the Bhokta, in our philosophy, Purusha is not the Bhokta. In the presence of Purusha, Prakriti is the Bhokta, Prakriti is the Karta. The twofold modifications of doership and enjoyership, it is not possible in Atma. That is what Shankaracharya is debating. He said they are Bhokta also means modification. See, Bhokta means what? There are vrittis in my mind. I am happy. I am sad. I was happy 5 years ago, but I'm sad today. Other way around. These are all vrittis only. Being a karta or a bhokta is nothing but it is vritti parinama. That is what Shankaracharya says. So that is another information, another type of logic which Shankaracharya uses. Therefore, Prakriti can only be Karta and Bhokta, not Atma. Next topic is Sankhya's reply to this method of reasoning by Shankaracharya. 277, 277 topic. What does this say? This says Purusha is a non-changing tattva. Eternally non-changing. Try to understand this. Many people who are in Vedanta, they miss this point. What is the point being emphasized here? That the consciousness awareness is always consciousness aware. Whether I am seeing this waking world, I am consciousness. Whether I'm seeing dream world, I am consciousness. Whether I am not seeing any world, still in the sleep state, I am consciousness. So sleep state is avidya. Avidya karyam. And in the sleep state, it is ignorance. It is ignorance of the world, ignorance about myself. What the Sankhya says, Prakriti has three doshas, Aneka, Achetanatam, and Ashuddhatvam. These are the three doshas in Prakriti. How can it be Chetanam? It is Aneka. Okay, I'll explain this. Purusha is Ekam. Purusha is Shuddham. And Purusha is Chetanam. Consciousness is one. Consciousness is pure because it never has material World anytime. And it is Chetanam. It is always sentient principle. Now, Purusha and Prakriti, they are diagonally opposite. Material world is many. It is not ekam, anekam. Material world is not shuddham. It is ashuddham. Material world is achetanam. So, Sankhya says, because of the difference between the material world, achetanam, I am saying Atma is bhokta. Atma, the material world can be karta, but Atma has to be a bhokta. Now, that was 277 Sankhya's proposition. 278. Shankaracharya now gives his answer. He points out the flaws in Sankhya's theory. He says, don't you think that Prakriti is undergoing change and Purusha is also undergoing change? Threefold Vishesha Prakriti, that is Shuddhatvam, Anekatvam, Achetanatvam, these are all changes in matter. So if there is a change during the pralayam, he says if this change will be lost. Prakriti becomes ekam shuddham. Achetanam will become chetanam. This is a flaw. Because anything which changes will be non-eternal. Suppose Purusha is bhokta. Bhoktatvam, is it an intrinsic nature or is it the temporary nature? Sukha dukha is not our intrinsic nature. I am happy, I am sad. It's a seesaw. One day I am sad, one day I am happy. For all of us. Therefore, because it is changing, Bhoktrutvam is changing, Shankaracharya says, it cannot be the Atma. Atma is Nirvikara Swarupa. Nirvikara means what? See, by doing this type of analysis, our understanding of Atma will become more and more clear. I am Atma, I am Nirvikara, I am not affected by the body's or mind's condition of Sukham or Dukkham. Doership or enjoyership is not a part and parcel of Atma, it is Anatma principle. That is why Ahamkara is a part of Vyavaharika Satyam. It is not, Ahamkara is not a part of Paramarthika Satyam. Atma alone exists in the higher nature. In the lower nature, up to the Ahamkara is the Ahamkara means what? I notion with reference to body and mind. See, when you study like this, that I which is Atma and the I which is a false Atma, which is Ahamkara, becomes more and more clear. See, the differentiation between Atma and Atma is what we are trying to do. When somebody says, so one train is called as Nilagiri Express, which goes to Coimbatore. So if somebody asks you, are you going to Coimbatore? They will say, no, I'm going on Blue Mountain. So similarly, when we use these terms in Karta, Bhokta, and Atma, if you are not clear what they mean, then you will always get into confusion. A clear understanding of the nature of Atma comes about by studying the scriptures. It is a status change. Purusha is always there. Prakriti is always there. But what is, instead of confusing myself as the Prakriti, I get to know and understand the Purusha correctly. Purusha means what? It is without any status. Karta, Bhokta, this belongs to Ahamkara. It is Matra. Chin Matra means what? Purusha is a Bhokta. The status of Bhokta is taken out from the Purusha Tattvam and is left in the Vyavaharika world. So, Akarta, Abhokta, the term which is used is Chin Matra. Akarta means non-doer. Abhokta means non-enjoyer. That Atma is Akarta, Abhokta. See, water becomes ice. It loses the status of liquid and gains the solid status. Liquid status is gone, solid status comes to the same water. Similarly, Karta Bhokta is a status of that Atma. It's not the intrinsic nature. Okay? So that is what is. See, the whole discussion in this entire third verse is, am I a doer of action? Am I the enjoyer of action? I am not a doer of action or enjoyer. Both doer and enjoyer are a part of Vyavaharika Satyam. I am not transactional reality. I am absolute reality. Next topic, 279. अथ भोगकाले अपि चिन्मात्रा एव प्रागत्वपुरुष इति चेत् न तर्हि परमार्थतो भोगः पुरुषस्य. Shankaracharya says, at the paramarthik level, I am not a karta bhokta. I am chinmatra. Chinmatra means what? I am chit rupa only. Prakriti has got a status change. Purusha has no status change. Purusha remains chinmatra, abhokta, akarta all the time. What about the body? Body sometimes is acting, sometimes it is not acting, but it is sleeping. So the body has got two conditions. It is a doer action, it is not a doer action. But Atma, the consciousness which illumines the body, it is always a sentient principle, illuminating principle. That principle is what I have to take it as my real nature and drop the body as me. So this adhyaropa means what? Superimposition of kartutvam and bhoktrutvam has to be dropped. That is the essence of this entire debate. I hope you're all getting it because this is a very, very fundamental notion in our mind. Because throughout the day, we are doing actions. Throughout the day, we are experiencing the result of actions. But this action and result of action, there is an I, which is called as reflected consciousness with the body or mind. That is the experiencer, but not the original consciousness, which is ever only the illuminator. Okay, so that is the line of the argument in these places. I've already explained to you the three types of Purusha, Nirguna Brahman, Saguణ Ishvara, Saguna Jivaha. Purusha is always Chaitanya Swarupaha. It is never a Srishti Karta. That is why we bring in Ishvara. See, what is Ishvara? Ishvara is a Srishti Karta. Whereas in Sankhya, Pradhanam alone is Srishtikar. Are you seeing the difference between Sankhya and Vedanta? Vedanta says Purusha is always Chaitanya Swarupa. There is Srishti. Its own nature, it alone is. That is what Turiyam. In Mandukya, we study Turiyam. It is Shantam, Shivam, Advaitam, Chaturtham Manyante, Sa Atma Sa Vigneyaha. Purusha is many before Srishti and during Srishti, that is Sankhya philosophy. So, Swarupa Parinama, Purusha is a bhokta, that is Sankhya philosophy. There is no change as far as Advaitam is concerned. Two different words you're adding, two names you're adding, which is Prakriti has changed as in the status. Eka Prakriti becomes Anekam. Nitya Prakriti becomes Anityam. So you're just changing words. You're not addressing the real nature of Atma. That is what Shankaracharya says in this section. During Pralaya, there is no Srishti. Pralayam means when there is Layam. Layam, Pralayam means the whole world goes into unmanifest condition. So there is no status for a Purusha also. See, Purusha, as long as the creation is experienced, we say it is the Kara. But when creation is not there as in the sleep state, what will you call that Purusha? That Purusha is Akarta, Abhokta. That is what is Shankaracharya's view. Shankara asked this question. On what basis you attribute Kartrutvam to Prakriti and Bhoktrutvam to Atma? What Purva Pakshi says is Prakriti is the Karta. It is a new status given to the matter principle. Purusha does not get a new status, it remains abhokta. New status is not given to Purusha. Purusha is always a bhokta according to Sankhya. So Purusha does not get a new status. Waker, dreamer, sleeper, these are three statuses acquired by Prakriti Parinam. This is what is called as, this is Shankaracharya. You see, I become a dreamer, sleeper, waker only when I associated it with the material body, isn't it? As long as I am referring to the body, I am saying I'm a dreamer. I am saying I am referring the body, I say I refer to the I am a sleeper. But by Purusha, by Atma itself, what is it? It is neither a karta or a bhokta. The three states, waker, dreamer, sleeper, the three states are superimposed on Atma, which is alone exist. Atma is Ekam in Advaita. So you better accept Bhoktrutvam is superimposed on Atma, otherwise you will get into problem. In Sankhya's method, Bhoktrutvam is reality. It is not a superimposition. Shankaracharya says it is only a superimposition. Bhoktrutvam and Kartrutvam are both superimposition. As long as you see the body of Akarta or Bhokta, when you don't see the body, what exists then? Atma alone exists. Therefore, Purusha is a seeming Bhokta and a seeming Karta. So this is an intellectual change, cognitive change. In my understanding of the universe, I will have this new understanding. There will be no experience change. Experience of the world will continue in the waking state. Experience of no world will continue in the sleep state. Experience-wise, there is no problem. We all are experientially, we know we are Atma. But the segregation between Atma and Atma, which is what is missing in us, is what is being taught by the Upanishads. Purva Pakshi again comes back. He says at the time of Srishti, Purusha has modification, isn't it? Experience, the Purusha only experiences the Dukkham and Sukham. Therefore, there is a modification in consciousness, and it is a real modification because experience are real. For him, there is no mithya at all. See, Sankhya does not have a concept called as mithya. Mithya means what? Appearance. Like what? Like dream. Like rope snake. Like mirage on water. Mirage on sand. So there is a real modification. There is a bhoga for a purusha. That is what is Sankhya's view. Your problem is this mithya problem only. You are unnecessarily confusing what is really there in the world. So this is Sankhya's argument. He doesn't accept mithya concept. That is what it means. Next topic. Shankaracharya brings out the defect in Sankhya's logic. What does Shankaracharya says? While modification of consciousness alone is Bhoktrutvam, see, this was the line of thinking of Sankhya. Sankhya said that consciousness has to modify itself to become a enjoyer. What Shankaracharya says is it is the mind which is changing, not consciousness. Sukha bhoga happens in the mind. Sukha bhoga means what? Happiness in the experienced in the mind. When mind has rajoguna parinama, it has dukkha parinama. Suppose the mind is thinking of something continuously in the world. I must get this. I must get this house. I must get this house. I must get this marriage done. I must get this job. That is all what Rajoguna. So when mind has got Rajoguna, there cannot be any Sukha. So what Shankaracharya says is Prakriti is undergoing Sattva Guna Parinama, Rajoguna Parinama, and Tamoguna Parinama. Prakriti, not Purusha. Purusha is always Nirgunaha. All parinamas can happen only in Prakriti. It is never in Atma. Bhoga kale api parinama. Modification at the time of experience is called as bhoktrutvam. In Sankhya's method, there is vikara, there is change. And that change, he says, belongs to Purusha, not Prakriti. See, the difference between Shankaracharya and Sankhya is he, Sankhya thinks that Prakriti and Purusha are independently existing. Whereas Shankaracharya says Prakriti is dependent on Purusha, on consciousness. Um, Agni has a unique feature. Agni means what? Fire. Fire has got a feature of heat and light. But Agni also burns things. So the unique feature of Agni is it can burn and it can modify. What the Sankhya says, Prakriti is a karta, Prakriti's kartatvam is real, Purusha is bhokta, Purusha's bhoktatvam is real, which is not possible. Okay, the next topic is 282. Shankara offers a new suggestion. See, the thing is that this is how uh, a debate happens. And in this debate, there is a reply, there is a question, there is a reply, there is a question, and this is how 20 times this debate happens between Shankaracharya and Sakya. It's a very, very long debate in the commentary. Here in this 282, she is saying, why can't we say Bhoktrutvam is there for Atma also? It is there for matter also. For example, parenthood. We cannot say that parenthood belongs to only one, only the mother. Parenthood belongs to the father and the mother. So similarly, can't we say that Bhokta means it belongs to both Prakriti and Purusha? Can they combine? Can we say it's a combined experience? This is what Purva Pakshi is saying, which is Nyaya. Both Trutvan belongs to both Purusha and Prakriti is Sankhya's proposal. Shankaracharya says, don't compromise your own fundamental principles. Understand your own fundamental principle first before coming to the debate. He is now telling Sankhya people, you are violating your own Purusha, your own principle, by saying it is a mixture. Actually, what Purusha is independent, Prakriti is independent is Sankhya. Purusha is Swatantra, it's a master. Prakriti is Paratatra. All four Purusharthas are meant for the Purusha. That is what is being said. I cooked for myself, you can also eat and go. That's one of the examples Shankaracharya gives here. For example, we say illuminator of light, illuminator light, and illumined objects. Illumined objects depend on the illuminator. Illuminator can exist without the illumined objects also. So, Purusha is the illuminator of the world. It can exist without the world also. Prakriti is the illumined the principle, world is illumined, it depends on that Purusha. See how deep we are going into the analysis of this Atma. Both are illuminators, both enjoy illuminator status. This Prakriti is also illumined, it becomes it is illumined, and Purusha is always the illuminator. Husband and wife are required for the child. If Prakriti is a joint experiencer, your matam has to be sacrificed. Don't require two lamps. One lamp is enough. One illuminator is enough. One Purusha is enough. Why are you bringing in Prakriti also as a Bhokta? That is Shankaracharya's view. See this how this Karta Bhokta, because whole life is only doer of action and enjoyer of. How we have to drop both this and no, I am the Atma alone. That is the gist of this entire section, which is a very long section. But the gist is I am the illuminator of the Karta status. I am the illuminator of the Bhokta status. The status belongs to Prakriti, but the illuminator is Atma. Purusha gives reflection to the material universe. Purusha gives reflection, it gives illumination. Therefore, he says Purusha is Bhokta because it is lending reflection to the Prakriti. Shankaracharya says you are still wrong. Mind has got the Bhoga experience, not the Atma. Atma is Nirgunaha, it is always has no experience of Bhoga. Any experience of enjoyership requires the presence of the mind and the body. Mind is able to receive the reflection of Chaitanya and then becomes a bhokta. So there is a vritti parinama. Vritti parinama means what? Whenever there is a mind which is woken up, mind which goes to sleep, mind which wakes up. Mind goes to sleep, mind wakes up. When there is a mind which wakes up, prittis, the change of thoughts happen. The change of thoughts is the karta bhokta, not the atma. So I am always the illuminator, but the illumined karta bhokta status for a jiva. So Purusha gives a pratibimba. Pratibimba means what? A reflection. Purusha means it is the original consciousness. It reflects in the mind. The mind becomes the jiva, the illumined aspect in this body. And then it goes to do actions. Formation of reflection makes the Purusha the Bhokta. It lends existence, it lends consciousness. Prakriti becomes Bhokta by borrowing consciousness. Atma lends consciousness, but it is never Karta or Bhokta. Very, very fine thinking in these topics. Then next is a revision portion. I have dealt with most of the things here. Prakriti also modifies. Purusha also seemingly modifies, but it is only a seeming modification. Sankhya brings in the new topic. It is Nityaha. Purusha is Nityaha. It cannot undergo change. Purusha is Avikriyaha, but still Purusha is Bhokta. That is Sankhya's method of analysis, which we have seen already. One thing which you should remember is the matter by itself is jada. Only because of the reflection, chidabhasa, the body and mind both become sensual. See, this is a very subtle principle which needs to be understood by all the seekers, because only by understanding this aspect, you can then come out of this entire. See, there is a concept of reflected consciousness in Vedanta, which is not clearly understood by Sankhya. Therefore, it keeps on giving a wrong approach. 284, the next topic. Mind becomes chetanam, mind becomes achetan. Who is that karta bhokta? It is this mind. There is a status change in the mind or in prakriti. There is no status change in purushaha. Status can't be attributed to purusha because it is nityaha. It is nitya nirvikara swarupa. Therefore, Atma never has dukhitvam, sukhitvam, kartutvam, bhoktrutvam. These are all vikaras which are happening in the mind. It is the mind which is this karta, bhokta, sukhi and dukhi. It is the mind which enjoys samsara. Samsara is not an intrinsic nature of the Atma. To remove this samsara, which is seemingly there, we have to come to Shastra. It is Shastra alone which removes this misconception. Next topic is 285. Sankhya now comes to Shankaracharya, says, okay. I now say agree. Purusha is not does not undergo any change. Even though Buddha is a bhokta, Jivatma, because of ignorance alone, transfers bhoktrutvam to the mind. See, we all have ignorance, but that is a uh, transferred attribute. You are dropping swamata tyagaha. What is superimposed cannot be paramartha. What is superimposed is only vyavaharika satyam. Kartrutvam bhoktrutvam is only vyavaharika satyam. It is not paramarthika satyam. There is no in this. I am enjoying the world. I am enjoying the dish. I am enjoying the good climate. These are all only temporary enjoyment for a reflected consciousness with the mind body principle, which is called as ahamkara principle. Okay, so that is what is this. Okay, the wrong assumptions of Sankhya, Shankaracharya brings it out again and again. Don't say Prakriti is real, it is independently existing. It is a wrong statement. The correct statement is there is a Paramarthika Satyam, which is Purushaha. There is a Vyavaharika Satyam, which is Prakriti. You accept Veda Pramanam, and then you will say Atma is Shantam, Shivam, Advaitam. This is what is said in the seventh mantra of Mandukya Upanishad, which I have given here. Okay. So, Sankhya people are defeated by Shankaracharya. Shankaracharya says, I don't have any aversion towards the Sankhya people, but I have an aversion to their darshanam. Their vision of the world is wrong. Don't use logic for coming to moksha. Use shastra for attaining moksha. Okay, so now today I will stop here with this 286. See, this topic of is a slightly uh, topic, and therefore many of you may find that this is it is repeated, no doubt, but in repeated in different ways. Okay, so I will start with 26 topic next week, which is page number 1134. We have done almost 1,000 pages on this Prasno Upanishad Bashyam. There are about another 300 pages for this entire Prasno Upanishad Bashyam. It's a very detailed commentary. I mean, see, can you imagine so much of Shankaracharya's writings are available for one verse? I mean, 200 slides, 200 pages he takes to analyze one small portion of what? What are we analyzing? Am I a doer of action? Am I a enjoyer of action? 99% of people will say, yes, I am a doer of action, I am an enjoyer of action. But what Shankaracharya says is it's the body mind which is doing it. Atma, which is the illuminator of body and mind, is never a doer of action, enjoyer of action. Okay, so we'll stop here for the Prashna Upanishad class today. Oh. पूर्णमद पूर्णमिदं पूर्णात् पूर्णमुदच्छते पूर्णस्य पूर्णमादाय पूर्णमेवावशिष्यते ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः. In case you have any questions, you can put in the chat box or you can raise your hand and speak up. Shama, please go ahead.
Hari Om, Shekharji.
Yeah, Hari Om, yeah.
Since the last class which we had and today as well, so you very systematically trying to demonstrate the guna guneshu, the interaction which is there,
Correct.
and hence why one is truly not a karta. So there's no kartritvam and bhoktitvam. So you did that last time, we've done it today. My question is, if we are not the karta, how come the karma phala comes to the jiva in this life and to the next life?
Yeah, karma phalam does not belong to the jiva atma portion. It belongs to the reflected consciousness jiva. The original consciousness jiva does not have karma phalam. The reflected consciousness has karma phalam. The reflected consciousness jiva with the body has the karma phalam. He is enjoying whatever is the karma phalam. That means our waking state is our karma phalam. But the waker realizes I am not the one who is undergoing the enjoyership or the sorrowfulness of the world. The jiva realizes I am not this. I am that pure consciousness which I am in my intrinsic nature, which is what I am in without the world, which is what I am without the three states. The jiva is in ignorance in the waking state. He thinks I am the bhokta, I am the doer, I am the enjoyer of action. Shankaracharya says that is what is the problem. You are the jiva, you're undergoing the experiences because of the body only, body and mind. Body and mind is available to us in the waking state. In the sleep state, where is that body? I am there. Who is that jiva who is there in the sleep state? Why do you claim the jiva with the body in the waking state as real? And in the sleep state, you're also there. That jiva is the same jiva. There is no difference in the jivatvam. What is really is a wrong notion. I am the body is the wrong notion. With the body only, I become a bhokta and karta.
So at the point of moksha then, where the jiva has realized, that that's not my nature. I am pure Purusha or Atman or Brahman. Then he does not, after that, he doesn't get any karma phala. Is that right?
What he realizes is, as Atma, I never had karma phalam. As Atma, I was never a waker, dreamer, sleeper. As Atma, I am Nityaha. I am the illuminator of the waking world. I am not the waker and the waking world.
However,
Like,
after this, then he exits this cycle of punarjanma.
correct. He has already existed. The moment that with avidya is gone,
Hmm.
immediately he is out of this cycle. He says,
Okay.
tomorrow morning I will get the body will still have the experience, but I
Hmm.
am not the experiencer in this body. I am separate than the experiencer, which is the Atma alone, which is the eternal Atma, which is the Nitya Chaitanyam. It is not the reflected Chaitanyam with the body and mind. I am pure Chaitanya.
Okay.
That knowledge is called as moksha.
Mhm. Mhm.
I am pure Chaitanyam is moksha. I am Anitya Chaitanyam, which is this body, mind, world. All these three is Anitya. Anitya means what? It appears, again it will disappear. Tomorrow again some new experiences will come. Again that experiences will go. Don't give too much credit to all your experiences. Drop them as mithya.
Okay. And
Mithya
just last
is an
question.
appearance. Yeah.
Yeah, last question is, just the Vedantic meditation. It, in some ways, it is almost akin to the Patanjali Yoga Sutras, the
Samadhi state.
Ashta, yeah, where you are necessarily doing first pratyahara. That means you're detaching from
Yes.
whatever is your conventional knowledge. Yeah. And then you are actually, dharana will be attaching to that what is the Atman, the knowledge. So in the focus is on the knowledge of the Brahma Vidya.
Okay. See the difference between Patanjali Yoga Samadhi
Mm,
and Vedantic meditation is very, very subtle. Let me explain to you.
mm,
Patanjali Yoga Sutra is a Dvaita philosophy.
yes.
It is a clean Dvaitam. I am the meditator. I am not the meditated.
Mm,
Meditated is also there. Meditator is also there. Meditator is Satyam, meditated is Satyam. That
But
is
in
Dvaita.
Samadhi, it's the same, isn't it? In
No,
Samadhi, it
in
becomes the
Samadhi,
same.
what he says is this meditated becomes unmanifest in Samadhi. But again, he will, after meditation, again he will come out of Samadhi or not.
Acha.
Every person who goes into Samadhi always has to come out of Samadhi. So when he
All right.
comes out of Samadhi, what does he say? Are Dvaitam is Satyam. Again, he
Okay.
comes back and says Dvaitam is Satyam. What is the difference between Advaitam and Advaita? What Shankaracharya says? Shankaracharya says Dvaitam is always Mithya. It is always Mithya means what? It is only an appearance. Always. Whenever it appears, it is Mithya. Eternally Mithya. And who am I? I am eternally the illuminator of this Mithya world. I am the Adhishthanam. World is Adhyastam. Adhyastam requires the mind. Without mind, there is no Adhyasa.
Yeah.
Adhishtanam can exist by itself,
Mhm.
which is what I am in my Swarupam.
Yeah.
All the time in my Swarupam, I am Adhishtanam. Whether it is waking state, whether it is a dream state, whether it is a sleep state, I am the Adhisthana Turiyam. Turiyam has got no change at all. Nirvikara Sobha. Prakriti has got Vikara. This Prakriti made up of Panchabhutas, the Gunas, three Gunas, has got always Vikara. Vikara means what? Parinama. Parinama means change. Change means Sattva to Rajas, Rajas to Tamas, Tamas to Sattva, Sattva to Rajas, Rajas to Tamas, Sattva to that Sattva, Rajas, Tamas, Sattva, Rajas, Tamas is our life.
Continuous. Yeah.
Continuously, that's also eternal.
Mm.
Purusha is also eternal. Now, between the two eternals, I have to identify which is the right one and which is the mithya.
Mhm.
Experiences are mithya. Satyam is never experienced, but it is real. Whatever is experienced is always unreal. Look at the status of Vedanta. Vedanta says whatever is experienced, drishyatvam is mithyatvam. Adrishyatvam is satyam.
But in reality, I mean, Purusha and Prakriti, they are not two separate things, isn't it?
Yes, you are right. That's also a
Yeah.
correct understanding. Purusha and Prakriti are not two separate things. They are not two realities. It is
Yeah.
one reality
With two
appearing
X.
as the other. That is
Correct.
why we say the world is an appearance. Like the dream. Dream came and went. Again it will come tonight. Again it will go off. But what is the Adhisthana? Waker is the Adhisthana for the dream world. Similarly, for the waking world, Adhishtanam is Turiya Atma. That Turiya Atma is always illuminator, always consciousness, 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 consciousness of the world in when it exists in the waking state, conscious of the dream world when it exists,
Yeah.
conscious of no world which is the sleep world. That
Mhm.
sleep world is nothing but it is Maya.
I'm sorry, I keep saying last. Just, the Shankar Bhashyam, the verses which you are describing, um, do they have number? Because I was trying to look from that Hindi Gita Press
नहीं
Gorakhpur
नहीं
one.
नहीं उसमें बिल्कुल नंबर नहीं है. There is no number at all in the Hindi Gita press book. I have put numbers because I want to explain it in small portions to that while teaching.
Okay, because I was getting a bit confused. That
No, no,
looks
no.
like a
There is no
continuous
number. There is
narration.
no number at all.
Continuous. Yeah.
Yeah, you see, I wanted to keep a track that I have covered all the Bhashyams of Shankaracharya.
Okay,
I
got
have
it.
numbered them as 1 to 280, 279.
Okay, got it. Yeah, thank you so much. Thank you.
Okay. Shanta, go ahead.
Namaste, Shekharji.
Yeah.
I must say, today was also very enlightening, and especially I learned a little more from Shamaji's question. So I was making my notes. Thank you very much for asking that question. My question is regarding this. In one of the, I think, the topics, we spoke about this light, illuminated objects, illuminator and illuminated objects. And it becomes, I mean, it is okay for me to understand, or I can accept that the illuminator is obviously different and the illuminated object can borrow light and illumine. And the example is the moon, which can borrow light from the sun and illumine. But what I'm not able to understand how it works, or is Prakriti borrows consciousness and becomes bhokta. Could you just give some example or explain that a bit more in detail, or in a better
Okay,
way
good.
for me to understand?
Yeah. Yeah, this is extremely subtle point. Many people are having questions regarding this. So I'm glad you asked the question. See, what Vedanta says is the entire world, experienced world, is only material. It is only matter.
Mm,
The whole world of experienced nature is only material, whether it is sound, whether it is
mm.
form, whether it is
Touch,
color,
yeah.
whether it is touch. All this is a property of the material world.
Mm,
But property of the material world cannot exist by itself. Fundamental
mm.
truth of cannot
Ah,
exist,
okay.
cannot be known by itself because it is Prakriti.
Mm.
It is made
Is
up of
Jadam, yeah.
Panchabhutas which are inert.
Mm,
So what Vedanta says is there is only one principle which can be the knower of this Prakriti, and that is Purusha. And that Purusha is only one. It is not many. What is many is the body is many. Your
mm,
body is different, my body is different. There's so many bodies are there. Bodies are what? Prakriti. They are only made up of Panchabhutas. But inside each Prakriti, inside each Panchabhuta, the enlivening light factor, the electricity factor in each of these material bodies is Purusha.
mm. Yeah.
That is step number one of understanding. Step number two
Mm,
of understanding is material body has got sattva, rajas, tamas, waker, dreamer, sleeper, waker, dreamer, sleeper, manifest, unmanifest, manifest, unmanifest. These are the conditions of,
mm,
and these conditions are eternal. Continuously it is changing, continuously. For example, you may be sleeping, I may be awake here, but it is just Prakriti. It
mm,
is made up of Panchabhutas. According to the external conditions of the sun, rise or the sunset, this body will rise, body will go to sleep. But what doesn't rise or what never sleeps is consciousness. It is Purushaha. It is that original sun. The moonlight
mm.
will keep on changing
Yeah.
according to its rotation. The sun always is the illuminator. It doesn't change. Always eternally it is the illuminator of moon. Moon is going round the sun. Like the earth is going round the sun, moon is going round the sun. Therefore, I experience light in the moon phasing out in the first 2 weeks. Again, it phases off. Again, another 2 weeks. It again the cycle starts. There is another full moon, another dark moon. Full moon, dark moon. So what happens is, like the moon is an example of our mind. Mind wakes up, mind sees the world. Mind goes to sleep in the night. Mind goes to sleep. No world. Again, the mind gets up in the morning. Again, sees the world. Your world may be of your son, your daughter, your country where you live, wherever the body is situated. That is your experienced life. And Veda says that it is part of your law of karma. That's all. Don't give too much importance to it. Come out of that and come to the light itself. Disown the body, own up the Chaitanyam, which is ever the illuminator. For the body, all the bodies, it is one illuminator. And it is only understanding, it is only intellectually your understanding. There is no physical change in your experiences. Absolutely no change will happen. Only in your mind you will say, I have no more sorrow in life because I have understood Vedanta. Sorrow belongs to mind, it does not belong to the Atma. Atma is Shuddha, Nitya Shuddha. Nitya Shuddha means always pure. I am a ever pure Atma should be the realization of all the seekers. I am always Nitya Shuddha. Not that today I have impurities. Impurities belong to the Karana Sharira. Punyam and Papam are belonging to the Karana Sharira, which is a composite entity of one Jiva. You are the Karana Shariram, Sukshma Shariram, Stula Shariram. I am Karana Shariram, Stula Shariram, Sukshma Shariram. In this, there is change. In this, there is difference. But in what there is no difference, the Atma which is associated with this three Shariram, Atma which is associated with your three Shariram, there is no difference in that Atma. All the Upanishads are trying to bring light into that aspect which is not known to us, and that is this Atma. Shariram is different. It is siddha. It's a siddha. It is siddha. Siddha means it is known.
No.
You are different. I am different is known. What is not known? Atma, which is the illuminator. And what type of illuminator it is? Nitya illuminator. Nitya means what? Always it is there. And what about the body? Body is there sometimes, it is not there sometimes. It is inert. Body is made up of vessels, blood vessels, bone. I mean, as a doctor, you know very well that that's all. The body is just a conglomeration of panchabhutas. And during death, what happens? It just goes back to the panchabhutas. Water inside the body evaporates. The air merges with the air outside. The minerals of the body merges with the earth element. But what is that? What is the purpose behind the birth of this body and the death of the body? Two purposes. One purpose is to go through the law of karma. Second purpose is for people who try to come to Vedanta to come out of this cycle of birth and death, which is called as moksha purusha. Only those people who are interested in moksha will come and understand this, will come to this talks. Person who is interested in shopping, he will be perennially shopping. What is the next thing? Next place I have to go? Next shop I have to go? Next things I have to go? That cycle of shopping will be continuously there for that person. But an intelligent person is the one who says, what is the use of all this? Am I a permanent shopper? One day I will not be here, but will it cause me Sukham or Dukham. I will be miserable. But if I know this Atma is the knowledge of Atma, then what happens to me? I'm always happy. That is the truth, which Veda says that is your nature.
Mhm.
In between, okay, I may have some bad experiences, good experiences in a day. That is what is
Mm.
changing life.
Okay, thank you very much. I really understood it well after this
Good,
because I was just not, clear. But when you explained about this, manifest, unmanifest, that gave that connection. Thank you very
good.
much. Very
Because
helpful.
Veda is very, very deep. You see,
Mm,
superficially, you will hear things, but
mm,
you have to go very deep.
mm,
Veda is extremely deep because it deals with the subject, I. Who
mm,
is this experiencer? What is the nature of that experiencer? Is what is the subject matter of all the Upanishads.
mm,
So, throughout this third mantra, that Shoshakala Purusha which we are analyzing is nothing but Atma.
mm.
Atma's nature is eternal. Okay.
Okay, धन्यवाद.
Manikandan has put here mind with the help of Prakriti, with the help of Shastra should understand Prakriti changes belongs to Karta Bhokta. Also, Shastra, Prakriti itself is Mithya. Hence, Karta Bhokta. Okay, Prakriti is Mithya. That is correct. But it requires Adhisthana Atma. Prakriti cannot exist by itself. Mithya rope snake cannot exist without the Satya rope. Similarly, Mithya Jiva cannot exist without Satya Atma. That is the logic we have to use. Karta Bhokta is the Mithya portion. The Satyam portion is the Atma. Is it clear, Manikandan?
Yes, yes, Secretary. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, Vijay, you have any question?
Uh, Not a question, probably, but I think fantastic discussion today. I think I would, the entire session of today, actually, I can draw completely um, parallel to verse 22 and 23 of Bhagavad Gita from chapter 13, where it very clearly, I mean, in the entire session, Shekharji, it says, Purusha Prakriti Stohi, Bhunkte Prakriti Jan Gunan, Karanam Sangha Sanghosya, Sada Satyo Nijanmasu. It very, very beautifully says that the Purusha who is seated in Prakriti experiences the sense objects of the nature. Guna and attachment with these gunas, when it is attached, it is responsible for birth of the soul in good and evil wombs. I think what Shamaji was also asking, if we are abhoktas and akartas, why are we having the karma sangati? Because of that, we are having all these kind of karma phalas. I think that's what it very, very beautifully says, that because we are not gunatitas yet. So we are, as long as we are seated in this prakriti, which is coming out of the guna pradhana, I think we are helplessly being driven into this karma phala. But I have, following second verse, it really clarifies further, but also a doubt in me. He calls himself, the Lord calls himself to be Upadrashta Hanumanta Cha Bharta Bhokta Maheshwara. He uses himself as a Bhokta from the perspective of he Purusha being seated in the Prakriti looks like. But why is he trying to say that he is Bhokta here in this case? Is he talking from the embodied soul of Jivatvam, which is attached to the Prakriti? Or why does the Overlord talks about himself to be Upadrashta cha Anumanta cha Bharta Bhokta Maheshwara?
Yeah, these two verses of the 13th chapter is the essence of Sankhya. Shankaracharya's reply to Sankhya philosophy of their Dvaita philosophy. So, your 22 and 23, 13th chapter, very beautiful verses. So here beautifully Lord Krishna says, I am seated in the Prakriti. That is the reflected consciousness. And then I become Karta Bhukta. But that is not my real nature. What is my real nature? Verse number 23. Verse number 23. Upadrishta Mantacha. Upadrishta, I am the spectator. I allow things to happen.
Yeah.
I am like the sunlight, whose presence all the vyavahara in the world is going on. Bharta, bhokta, cha. That means in my presence, things are happening. You see, this is the same as immanent nature and transcendent nature.
Transcendent.
Immanent nature means I'm seated. I am the material cause of the creation. I'm seated. That means I'm a part and parcel of all the bodies and minds. At the same time, he says, I am Upadrashta. Upadrashta means I am not a part of the body, exactly like Nachamastani,
Exactly.
Bhumani,
9-4 and 9-5.
9, 4,
Yes.
and 5 is this 22 and 23.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
Are you seeing the link now?
Yes, absolutely. Because these are the verses which can confuse anyone at any time
Yes.
until unless we are really clear with.
That's correct. You see, if you know the Atma Tattvam from the Paramarthika Satyam, I am Upadrashta. From Vyavaharika level, I am seated in the Prakriti, which Sankhya people could not understand. See, Sankhya does not have two levels of realities, Paramarthika, Vyavaharika. Vedanta, Shankaracharya has got Vyavaharika Paramarthika. Everywhere in Brahma Sutra, Shankaracharya, he replies to all the philosophers with this one fundamental argument with them. If you are sticking to the same order of reality, you will be in Dvaitam. You will never have moksha. But suppose your intellect is able to accept waker, dreamer, two different levels of reality, waker and Atma, two levels of reality, you will get moksha. Because the waker is always free from the dream world. The Turiyam is always free from the waking world. That Turiyam is what Shankaracharya brings out in Mandukya Upanishad. He brings out in Prasno Upanishad here, and Lord Krishna brings out in the Bhagavad Gita, 22nd and 23rd verse. Very, very glad that you brought these two verses up.
Thank you.
Good, Vijaya. Thank you very much. Anybody else has a question? Shama is a poet of the group. She can
No,
draw.
this was during your meditation. This was during your meditation, actually. This is what, so you can almost see as to how detached we are.
Yeah, correct. Yeah.
So, and yet we are all one. I mean,
That's correct. You see, that is oneness. Seeing oneness in the many is Vedantic meditation. We are all one Atma. We are born from one Atma. We remain in one Atma. We get resolved in one Atma. If you are able to understand waking, dream, and sleep, you will understand birth and death very easily. Manifest and unmanifest very easily. You will never have fear in life because that is a part of nature. Prakriti is this like this birth, death, manifest, unmanifest. Prakriti is where it has no independent existence. It is always dependent on what? The consciousness. See, all students of Vedanta never forget the fact that they are consciousness. Atma, Atma, I am Atma. Till the it is a continuous tambura in your mind throughout your waking state. I am Atma. I am Atma. I am different than the body. Body is an appearance. Some experiences of some sukham, some dukkham happens during the daytime. I am not at all affected by that.
So
You
you
take
walk
time.
in the light of that knowledge, no?
Yes,
Constant knowledge. And is that
constantly. Yes.
and I get the feeling that to the extent that we can be consciously aware almost throughout the day, throughout the Jagrat state, one can see, I suppose, all these divisions and separations. I get this idea that it probably will start to fade away, you know. Right now, it is making a lot of impact, but it will fade away because I'm not giving any recognition to it. So,
Yeah, you see, the moment you get involved with any part of Prakriti, whether it
ah,
is your own family, whether
yeah, yeah, yeah.
at your own at the level of your surroundings, at the politics of your state, of your country, or international politics, the world has got beauty, novelty, it has got all this variety in it, but it has got no stability.
Hmm.
What has stability? I, the Atma, always am stable. As consciousness, awareness principle, I am always stable, changeless, nirvikara, sarupa. The world will change. World affect my mind.
Hmm.
See, my mind will undergo variations. It will go vrittis. You know, for all of us, it is the vritti only. Vritti means what? Thoughts. Thoughts in the mind. That's all. One body has got some mind, and that mind will keep on thinking of this or that. You see, mind is constantly engaged in one aspect of the world. It could be your child, it could be a son, it could be your house, it could be your office, it could be your profession, possessions. That is anatma. That is what is called as samsara. But how do you get out of the samsara? By always having the knowledge, I am the substratum adhishthana. And that adhishthana is changeless. See, though I use words, but that impact to to be felt by each one of you, it requires time. You know, it takes time to have the impact of this word in Sanskrit called nitya and nirvikara. These are two very important words for Atma. The moment you understand Nityaha, Nirvikara, then your fear of anything in the world is gone. Okay,
Yes, it's
good.
because it's a time which makes that kind of
That's
huge time
yes,
awareness, which is
yes.
constantly reminding you
Time
of
and
the
space, time and space.
yeah, anitya aspect of life. Yeah,
Yes, and together time and space is called as
mm.
Maya.
Correct, correct. Time and space. Yeah,
That
thank
together,
you.
that is what in Vedantic language is called as Maya.
Mm,
And
wonderful.
Maya is eternal. It is there. Continuously it is there. You know? Okay. Thank you. We'll see next week again on Prashno. And tomorrow we'll have a session on Madhukya. Thank you. Namaste.
Thank you. Namaste.
Thank you.
Dhanyavad.
Namaste,
Hello.
Shekharji. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Shekharji.
Thank you. Thank you.
Hari Om.
Thank you. Thank you.